watching the nation's best college newscast. 11 News at Noon starts now.
Fraud arrest. 2 men are in jail accused of spending thousands of dollars at Orem stores using phony credit cards.
Immigration improvements, why some Utahns are pushing for Congress to deal with immigration and deal with it now.
And CO scare. You're more likely to get carbon monoxide poisoning during this time of year. We'll show you how you can protect your family. I'm Randall Vaudry.
And I'm Mark Chalice. Welcome to 11 News at Noon. Orem police booked 2 men into jail on suspicions of thousands of dollars of credit card fraud.
Police say they think the 2 men were working together as they traveled from California. Officials caught up with the men when the Best in Music store in Orem called for help. The caller described a man who purchased guitars worth of thousands of dollars while using fake credit cards. While officers were on their way to the scene, they got another distress call, this time from Summer Hayes Music. The caller described a similar situation and told officers that suspect was still in the store. Police arrived at Summer Hayes Music and arrested 24-year-old Robert Richardson. After investigating, police connected Richardson with a second man who met the description of the Best in Music suspect. Police then arrested Mark Martinez at a hotel in Springville. Officers recovered most of the stolen property, many fake IDs, and a machine that can be used to make fake credit cards.
Martin McNeil's murder trial takes a day off today, with prosecutors saying they may rest their case against the Pleasant Grove doctor as early as tomorrow. The original autopsy listed a heart condition as the cause of Michelle McNeil's death, but prosecutors allege Dr. McNeil used his medical training to kill her in her bathtub and make it look like heart disease. Medical experts who took the stand Friday say their review of her records would not lead them to think her cause of death was natural. The defense pointed out that the prosecution paid at least one of the medical experts for his testimony. Prosecutors have scheduled a sheriff's deputy and several federal inmates to take the stand tomorrow.
Utah business leaders flew to Washington to ask our congressman to reform immigration. 11 News reporter Shalise Kofed shows us why the issue is gaining momentum and what change would mean to Utah immigrants.
Irene Alfaro is a BYU grad student from El Salvador. Her family has legally lived in the U.S. since she was 8, but she says the unstable system keeps her family living in fear of deportation to a country that is no longer their home.
I've grown up here, this is where I've gone to school. I have my friends, I know how the culture kind of is, and for me to go back to El Salvador, yeah, I would be scared to go back.
Irene's story was one of many that brought 600 business leaders to Washington, D.C. They met with their state's legislators asking them to make it legal for more immigrants to work in the U.S. Utah's Donna Milakovich was among them.
Now's the time to do something that's bipartisan, that works for everyone, and that launches us into a stronger economy.
Those involved in the fly-in, like members of the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce, say that while immigration has long been considered a matter of national controversy, there are measures of reform that would meet little to no opposition if given a chance in Congress. If Congress votes in favor of this reform, immigrants like Irene wouldn't have to live in fear of deportation anymore.
I know people would take advantage of different programs, but there's also those like my family, like me, we work hard, we're trying to get ahead.
In Provo, Shalise Kofed, 11 News.
Members of the fly-in say they would like to see their state legislators vote for some kind of immigration reform before spring.
Former presidential candidate Mitt Romney criticized President Obama's health care rollout. This comes nearly a year after Romney lost to President Obama.
And perhaps the most important lesson the president, I think, failed to learn was you have to tell the American people the truth. And when he told the American people that you could keep your health insurance if you wanted to keep that plan, period. He said that time and again.
Right.
He wasn't telling the truth.
Romney also says health care costs won't go down under Obamacare, and while the law he passed as governor of Massachusetts works for that state, it doesn't work for the entire country. Most Utah candidates are rushing to put the finishing touches on their campaigns before tomorrow's municipal elections, but some are just going about their daily business. The mayoral candidates in Fairfield, Genoa, Santaquin, Woodland Hills, and Cedar Fort don't have any opponents, so Utah law says those cities don't have to hold an election.
Well, it turned cold this weekend, and if you're like me, you had to turn on your heater. Well, you could be releasing a deadly gas into your home. News reporter Aubrey Jones shows us how to protect ourselves from carbon monoxide poisoning and still stay warm this winter.
Home carbon monoxide poisoning is more common in the winter because everyone's trying to warm up. The problem is the symptoms are so similar to the flu and you can't smell it. A lot of people aren't detecting it until it's too late. Wintertime means turning on the fireplace and lighting up the stove, but many people don't know that this is letting carbon monoxide into their home.
All the different symptoms of headaches, flushed skin, weakness, and altered level of consciousness, these can all lead to eventually death if untreated.
Most appliances are safe if used properly, but heating and air technicians say it's important to take care of your gas appliances because even a little bit of dust could cause overheating and lead to carbon monoxide poisoning.
You can change the filters regularly because a dirty filter is a plugged evaporator coil, which makes everything work harder. So, and then the second thing you can do is maintenance. That's the thing that we do.
Carbon monoxide can slowly suffocate you, but a few simple steps could protect your family. The fire department recommends putting carbon monoxide detectors around your home to warn your family if the poison is in the air.
I'd have multiple. I'd have at a minimum at least one per floor, and I'd also put them close to your furnace and close to your sleeping areas, because that's where you really want to know.
You can find carbon monoxide detectors in most hardware stores. Officials say early detection could be the difference between life and death. If you think you're suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning, the fire department says to get out of your house immediately and call 911.
Thanks, Aubrey. You know, I don't actually have any carbon monoxide detectors in my house. I should probably look into getting those.
Yeah, I know you might actually have one. Some of the smoke detectors that are newer have carbon monoxide protectors built in.
So nice. That's good information.
When 11 News at Noon returns, final farewell. Students and family of the teacher shot at a Nevada school gathered at a memorial to celebrate his life.
And extraordinary education. An Orem school caters their curriculum to autistic students. How their growth helps Utah Valley's autistic children. Stay with us.
A school in Utah County helps children with autism learn the skills they need to succeed in life. 11 News reporter Fong Pham shows us how one-on-one interaction with teachers breaks through the barrier of autism.
Colin has a hard time getting along with other kids his age. Autistic children like Colin need special education in schools like Clear Horizons Academy. The academy started 8 years ago when Brent and Catherine Wood discovered their granddaughter has had autism.
And it's a devastating diagnosis because it's a lifelong disability.
Studies show that Utah leads the nation in the child autism rate, with 1 in 47 diagnosed with the disorder. So finding the compassion from other people wasn't hard for the Woods family. Clear Horizons Academy started with only 5 students. Now, that number has grown to 60, and the school has expansion plans to help even more autistic children deal with their own lives.
Currently, we are trying to raise more money so that we can use more classrooms rather than having to have a waiting list.
Children learn skills through playful interactions and conversation with teachers. Things like washing their hands or learning how to use the washer and dryer. These things actually help children focus on their learning, as frequent interaction with motion during class time reduce their anxiety. The school's low student-to-teacher ratio gives parents a peace of mind, as their children have more opportunities to learn how to communicate with others.
They do a lot of small group instruction, and so they can cater what they're doing to the individual student. I'm blown away by their commitment and their kindness and their success that they see with their students.
In Orem, Fong Pham, 11 News.
Clear Horizons Academy works with kids ages 3 to 15, and they don't require an official autism diagnosis to apply.
A memorial service honors the Nevada teacher killed in a school shooting. The gunman at LAX airport says he acted alone, and Democrats are pushing for a female President Clinton. Here's your look at news from across the nation. Family members and friends gathered in Sparks, Nevada to say their final goodbyes to the former Marine and math teacher gunned down last month. Michael Lansbury died while trying to talk down a 12-year-old student who went on a shooting rampage at school. Those at the service remembered Lansbury as a dedicated teacher, husband, father, and friend. The man charged in the deadly shooting at Los Angeles International Airport says he acted alone when he killed a TSA officer and injured 3 others. Police say they believe a roommate of the 23-year-old Paul Ciancia did not know what Ciancia had planned when he dropped him off at Terminal 3 just minutes before the shooting. Ciancia faces murder charges and possibly the death penalty if convicted.
Run! Run, Hillary, run!
Hillary Clinton is getting several high-profile endorsements to run for president, including one from New York Senator Chuck Schumer at a dinner in Iowa. A group of 16 female Democratic senators are also encouraging her, saying they're writing Clinton a letter asking her to run in 2016. A recent poll of presidential Democrat contenders shows that Clinton has a huge lead over any other candidate. And that's your look at news from across the nation. Mark?
Thanks, Randall. Kathleen, I know not everyone's a fan of it, but I was really excited about the snow last weekend, and the mountains look great.
Yeah, well, you know what? Wherever you are in Utah, you're going to see a little bit of snow today. I'll let you know more with 11. So when we went into November, I was expecting to still see a little bit of color happening here. I was not expecting to see the half of the sky being completely gray and overcast and seeing snow on the mountains here. But actually, that's what we got. And today in Provo, it is 36 degrees with about 55% humidity, and that's actually kind of what it's like throughout the state here. The wind's blowing about 6 miles an hour, which is good because it is cold, and the wind would just make it even colder. And then later tonight, there's about a 20% chance of snow happening here in Provo, and then it'll go down to about 26 degrees, so that snow could possibly stay there if it'll snow tonight. And then right here, as you can see here in Utah, it is pretty much all white with a little bit of blue, and that's an increased water vapor and some ice crystals, which is why most of Utah is experiencing some moisture, whether that be snow or some rain. Either way, Utah is going to be a little bit wet today here. And then these temperatures right here, 38 in Logan, 41 in Wendover, and then as we go down throughout the state here, these temperatures just a couple weeks ago were the lows, just not that long ago, but now they're the highs, and it's only going to get colder here. It's just November, and here we've got some snow happening throughout all of Utah, even in southern Utah. Today, slight chance of rain and some snow, even though it's about 58 degrees, but it'll go down to about 34 as we go on into the evening here. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, it'll actually warm up and it'll be sunny, and then it'll continue to be sunny and in the 60s throughout the rest of the week here in St. George, it won't be too cold there in St. George. Northern Utah, snow's going to last a little bit longer. It'll actually go on until about Tuesday night. We've got some snow happening and some decreased temperatures here going on and ending on Wednesday, and then the rest of the week. Going into the weekend, it'll be about 58 degrees and then 55 on Friday. However, there might be a little bit, I would watch out for some rain here happening. It might rain, but this is Utah. We never know.
Yeah, you never know in Utah. You know, walking in this morning, my hands were freezing. It was like legitimately cold.
I had to put a coat on. I have a rule. I don't wear a coat till November, and I had to get my coat out this morning. So there you go.
You know, you guys can complain about the cold all you want. I'm just ready to hit the slopes. I'm excited. Thanks, Kathleen.
Yeah.
Dave, it was a rough weekend. There was no BYU football, but I went to the volleyball game, and it was actually a really good game.
Yeah, the Cougars are definitely on a hot streak.
Yeah, with no football game, Cougar fans still had plenty to be excited about. I'll get you all caught up on that. And fighting dilemma. Fights on the ice are a fun part of hockey, but see how BYU players feel about them. And flying high. This new quarterback for the Eagles did something his franchise has not seen since Dwight D. Eisenhower was in the White House. I'll show you what he did. Despite losing arguably their 3 best players from last year's squad, the BYU women's volleyball team is looking just as good as they were last year when they made a run to the Sweet 16 and looking to extend a 23-match home winning streak against the visiting Pepperdine Waves on Saturday. The Cougar Brain Trust getting ready. They would need every bit of that preparation. It started out as this kind of afternoon for BYU. Pepperdine with the hustle play and the point. They take the first set. In the second, Pepperdine with set point. Alexa Gray is blocked, and the Cougars lose the first 2 sets for the first time this season. In the third set, down late, Alexa Gray for BYU with a chance for redemption. The monster block keeps the Cougars alive, and they're able to force a 4th set where the block party continues for BYU. A career-high 11 blocks for Kat Lecheminant. Decisive 5th set, the freshman Whitney Young puts the Cougs up early. And then it's the defense again. Alexa Gray and Lecheminant denying the Waves. One of 16 blocks for BYU. Match point now for BYU. How else would they win it? A block. That's why they're the third best blocking team in the nation. They stay all alone on top of the West Coast Conference standings with 3 weeks left in the season. Let's head up the street to the Marriott Center for some basketball. Good ball movement here. A good slam dunk for the big freshman Eric Mika. He would finish with a double-double. Later in the first half, Tyler Haas getting in on the action, flips it up and in. Get used to seeing more of that, Cougar fans. BYU starting to run away with it in the second half against Alaska Anchorage. Easy stuff for Matt Carlino. He also had a double-double. Everyone loving it as the Cougars win big. They will officially begin the season Friday night when they host Weber State. It's about to get rough in this house. Many people don't know that BYU even has a hockey team, but there is still drama on the ice. 11 Sports reporter Kylie Patton shows us how the Cougars tackle a moral dilemma when caught in a scrap.
Rolling with the punches. This may be BYU, but that doesn't mean fists don't fly. Between the skating, passing, and shooting, the club hockey team discourages scuffles, yet takes no extra steps to eliminating brawls.
You know, if it gets going, our guys definitely have to defend themselves and do what's needed.
Fights on the ice are historically part of the game, but representing BYU puts them in a unique position.
BYU obviously has high standards, and we try to live those standards the best that we can.
League rules say that players who decide to drop the gloves will be kicked out from that game and benched for the next. For each additional scrap the player finds himself in, he can look forward to a 2-game ban.
Hockey may not be as smooth as the ice they play on, but athletes agree that fighting is an important part of the game for both the fans and the team.
It's used to help us come together as a team and work a little bit harder. The crowd loves it. It gets us, it gets the blood flowing for the players.
The Cougars say that fighting is less of a personal beef and is more about uniting the guys and psyching out the opponent. Players say that fighting on the ice is risky, and although they don't go looking for it, they don't mind skating into a little bit of danger.
I think fighting is necessary. It's part of the game and should always be.
In Provo, Kylie Patton, 11 Sports.
Hockey hits the road for the next month, but for all you hockey fans, there will be plenty of opportunities to catch a fight with an icy battle against the U on December 14th. You've heard of Mike Vick. You may not have heard of Nick Foles until right now. First quarter of the Eagles at Raiders. This is the first touchdown pass of the day for the new Eagles quarterback. Second quarter now. Foles flies one up for Riley Cooper, who makes a nice catch. 2 TDs for Foles. Next Eagles possession from 70 yards away. Again, it's Foles to Cooper, who takes it to the house. 3 touchdowns for Nick Foles. Next time with the ball, Foles with all sorts of time, casually finds a wide open Zach Ertz for his 4th touchdown pass of the game. Halftime didn't slow him down. He finds Shady McCoy for touchdown pass number 5. What's the opposite of an angry bird? Survey says a happy bird. Fly, Nick Foles, fly on the road to history. 6 touchdowns for Foles. Why not cap it off with the 7th? That's exactly what he does, tying an NFL record with 7 touchdown passes in a single game. Eagles win huge. And guys, the last time that happened was your boy, Peyton Manning.
That's my boy. Proud of him, but that was quite the performance. Wow.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, that was good stuff. Total Eclipse. Would you travel to Africa to see something that only happens every 100 years? We'll show you more of this rare sight when we come.
Thousands of people in northern Uganda got a front row seat to one of Mother Nature's greatest shows, a solar eclipse. This is the first time in more than a century these solar lights darkened the skies of Uganda. Viewers used everything from cameras to special dark glasses to catch a glimpse of the once-in-a-lifetime event. The grand finale was when everything went black, except for a burning ring of fire in the sky. And here it comes. You guys gotta wait for it because that is beautiful. Check that out. Johnny Cash would be psyched.
Yeah, he definitely would be.
Oh, yeah.
Last year we had the Ring of Fire down in southern Utah and the Transit of Venus. Both of those were impressive to see.
Yeah, totally. And it'll happen in 2017 too.
Sounds nice. Good. Well, that's 11 News at noon for Monday, November 4th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching and have a great afternoon.